Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Islamic Fiqh podcast. Today I actually wanted to do this stream because I saw this video by the psycho, and I figured that I need to make a response to this because there's this hadith that we usually use, and it's a very common hadith you will see, and basically David Wood he took this hadith and took a translation of it and tried to make a whole different thing out of it. So inshallah, me and brother MENJ will talk about this. Brother Jobas says that he can hear the audio. Good. All right, so we should get started. Brother MENJ should join us in like 15 minutes. So let's get started, inshallah. And yeah, Bismillah.
According to Islam's most trusted sources, Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, had sex with a prepubescent 9-year-old girl. And we
Okay, so so right off the bat, you'll notice that he already commits this, what do you call it? This absolute misrepresentation of what the Islamic sources says. Nowhere in the Islamic sources say that the Prophet ﷺ married, or what is implying, had sex with a prepubescent girl. Nowhere does it say that. Okay. Now, what he's trying to imply is that Aisha Ra, she didn't reach puberty. Okay. Now, you will notice that this is something he needs to prove. So, burden of proof is on him, but instead of proving it, he's already making this assumption. Okay. So he's already assumed that his position is the correct one. So, and this is a very deceptive kind of psychological tactic that David Wood does to kind of fool his audience. So basically he's saying this up front to make his audience seem like his position has more strength because he already starts with this position, right? So it's kind of like circular reasoning. Like he already assumed that this is true, but what makes him think it's true? Where's the evidence?
We know that Aisha hadn't reached puberty because the Muslim sources talk about her playing with dolls in the
Okay, so this is his evidence. So apparently, I already made a video on this topic on the Prophet's marriage with Aisha. If you guys want to see the video, you can check it out. So basically, I made a refutation of Apostate Prophet's video on Aisha Ra, and I responded to this claim. So basically, this claim, it says that apparently she played with dolls. I mean, David, you're a grown man and you have a doll. Like you have a doll of Saitama in your house. I've seen it. Okay, you have a doll in your house. Does it mean that you're a child now? And to top it off, the thing is that at that time the hadith takes place, Aisha was already 15 years old, and I already explained this in the video, and you guys can go and check it out. And basically, also another thing is that not all types of doll are forbidden. Like for example, when you have a doll that doesn't have a clear shape, and Sheikh Utayman says that those type of dolls are okay to play with. It doesn't matter what age you are, or you can have those type of figure. But the thing is that the hadith that talks about this, and one of the reasons that I think it's Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani who says this, and he basically says this because in Islam, usually, unless there is a sign of puberty, the age of marriage, according to many school of thought, was considered to be at the age of 15, right? And so some scholars think that this is the reason why Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani thought that she hadn't reached puberty, because he was thinking that she hadn't reached the age of 15 yet. Okay, that's why he thought that she hasn't reached puberty, not that he didn't actually physically didn't reach puberty. Okay, so, and this is the reason why a lot of people think that why Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani assumed the position that she didn't reach puberty. But there are countless evidence to show that she did reach puberty. I mean, she herself alludes to it, and as we're going to talk about.
There are some hadiths that Muslims use in the West to show that Aisha had, in fact, reached puberty.
It's not just in the West. This is a well-known hadith, but
And let's go ahead and take a look at an example. This is Sunan Abu Dawud, number 4933 or 4915, depending on which edition you're using. And let's go ahead and read something interesting here. So this is about Aisha being taken to the house
Okay,
of Muhammad.
so this hadith, and I knew he was going to use this because hold on, I have a meme here. Let me see if I can share this. Okay, so basically here he's committing the red herring fallacy, right? So basically he's using this hadith as a way to distract from the main topic, because this hadith, if you look at it, it talks about I menstruated, but no one uses this hadith because everyone knows, as far, or at least people who are in the apologetic scene knows, that this hadith is mistranslated. Okay, ask any hadith scholar or people who know Arabic, they will tell you this hadith is mistranslated. Okay, so he's already using a kind of like a faulty kind of like translated hadith to make it seem like Muslim scholars are deceiving, they're lying, blah blah blah, right? And this is just like a red herring. This is nothing to do with the topic, right? So the main topic that he wants to talk about is the fact that there's another hadith which does talk about puberty, but this one, it doesn't even talk about like puberty because it's a mistranslated hadith, and no one denies this. But regardless,
to consummate the marriage with her. So Aisha narrated, the messenger of Allah married me when I was 7 or 6. When we came to Medina, some women came. According to Bishr's version, Ruman came to me when I was swinging. They took me, made me prepared, and decorated me. I was then brought to the messenger of Allah, and he took up cohabitation with me when I was 9. She halted me at the door, and I burst into laughter. Abu Dawud said, that is to say, I menstruated. And I was brought in a house, and there were some women of the Ansari in it. So here we have, according to Sunan Abu Dawud, that Aisha started menstruating right before she was taken to Muhammad to consummate the marriage. What great timing that would be. But here's the problem. I go to
yeah, it's basically what I said. This is a mistranslated hadith, and he's gonna use this to say that but look, this is the Muslims are deceiving. And by the way, this is a logical fallacy. Let me show you guys the fallacy here. What is it? Yeah, this is known as appeal to extreme fallacy. Here's the animation. I made this. Appeal to extreme fallacy. So an appeal to extreme fallacy is a fallacy where you take a simple premise or simple argument and go to a very weird and absurd conclusion, right? So the simple premise here would be that there's a mistake in the translation, and the extreme conclusion would be that it's the Muslim scholars trying to deceive everybody. I mean, if the Muslim scholars wanted to deceive everybody, they would have changed the Arabic, you genius. They wouldn't change the translation. Okay, a lot of Muslims can read Arabic. Why would they like just change the translation? That makes no sense. Like the morons, they don't even think before like they make like these stupid points. I mean, if you're gonna make like some kind of stupid conspiracy, at least think about the things you're talking about. Like if we're gonna like try to deceive people, we would have changed the Arabic. We wouldn't change the translation. And everyone knows that this is a mistranslation.
Other translation of the exact same hadith. This is the Salam edition of Sunan Abu Dawud.
Skip through this. He just whines about it. Speed it up.
We read, it was narrated that Aisha said, the messenger of Allah married me when I was 7 or 6 years old. When we came to Al-Medina, some women, Bishr said, Ruman, came to me when I was on a swing and took me and prepared me and adorned me. Then I was deeply. Well, now I'm confused, everyone. I mean, it looks like...
Okay, now he just starts like acting. By the way, this is the thing. A lot of time David will just act and you can just see through it. So he's trying to act like, oh, you know, he's completely dumbfounded. He made this claim like 100 times. Okay. He knows about this. He knows that this is not a good argument. He made this claim over 100 times and still he acts like, oh, you know, I'm just surprised. Like, dude, shut the hell up.
Like we had good evidence that Aisha had reached puberty. She'd started menstruating when she was taken to Muhammad.
Blah, blah.
In fact, reached puberty.
Blah,
but
blah,
I menstruated. So now I'm just confused. I don't know who to believe here. I don't speak
No,
Arabic,
he's
so
gonna
I don't
go
know
to
what's up right now.
Al-Fadi.
Oh, wait a minute.
Clown.
Fortunately, I'm here with my good friend Al-Fadi. That is
I love how like who do they think like they're fooling? Anyway, do they think that people are buying this? We know this whole thing is like staged. Like he knows that this is a mistranslation, and it has been known in the Muslim apologetic world for a very long time. Okay, like no one. Hold on, what happened? Like no one thinks that this is like the actual wording in the Hadith. Hold on, let me just. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I think there was like an internet issue. Regardless, yeah, it's just like so dumb. But anyway, let's continue.
This is an amazing studio you have, man, and the logo, by the way, looks familiar to me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool studio I built for myself here. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know Arabic, don't you?
Well, the last I checked, yes.
Well, this is some great timing because I was sitting
so
here
basically
and
they're going to
you got
say
the Arabic.
that it's mistranslated, which you already know. Like no one says that this is not mistranslated, and I think they already fixed it as well. Let me check if they fixed it or not, because okay, yeah, they didn't fix it yet, but yeah, this is like a mistranslation. Synergy false says. Just read this. Don't Muhammad contradict the gospel and the Tanakh? What do you mean by contradiction? Like, do you mean like he told us not to like? He told us that these books are corrupted. Then yeah, he told us that these books are corrupted because they are. Now, I don't know what do you mean like what relevance that does this have to this video, but yeah. But regardless, let's continue.
In front of you, right?
Yes, I mean, the Arabic that you were just looking at, I'm trying to pull it here. And maybe
So yeah,
your
this is
concern
like
is
a
that
mistranslation.
Different translations.
No
One says she
line about
menstruated, the other
it.
doesn't say anything about it. And show us that in the Arabic.
unfortunately, David, you said be mostly
Blah blah
closed.
blah.
If it is one to try to at
Move
least
on.
handle the fact that many people probably will be watching this or reading it are non-Arab.
Well, let's go ahead and look at a passage in Sahih.
You don't have to be an Arab. Like what? Like you can ask anybody. Like you can just use a translator. Like there are translators right now. You can use translators. Like you can translate the whole thing. Now the thing is that this is a mistake that I feel like Sunnah.com should fix. But there are various different copies of Hadith that doesn't have this like mistake. So
Bukhari, and we're going to see something very similar happening. But this is another example that is used by Muslims to show that Aisha had reached puberty. And here it specifically says that she reached puberty. So lots of Muslims go
okay, so this one is the one we're talking about. That's good.
to this passage, and I've seen lots of non-Muslims say, "Hey, wait a minute, the Hadith does claim that Aisha had reached puberty." Right here in Sahih al-Bukhari, number 476. So here we have narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. I had seen my parents following Islam since I attained the age of puberty. So, since she reached the age of puberty, she's seen her parents following Islam. We have an idea of when her parents started following Islam. So Aisha must have reached puberty well before.
All right. Synergy fails again. How can someone claim corruption with no basis on what's authentic? Who can anyone determine? Okay, Synergy fails says, how can someone claim corruption? Okay, it feels like you're a Christian. So let me give you some background on what I'm talking about. Prophet Muhammad Salam claimed to be a prophet. So if he was a prophet, then if he says that a book is corrupted to his followers, then that is valid. Okay, because that is a prophet who is getting revelation from God saying that these books are corrupted. Don't trust it, right? And this is not just about Prophet Sallallahu. There are biblical scholars who also believe the same thing. There are even Jews who believe that Torah has been corrupted. So not sure what point. Also, this is completely irrelevant to the video. Who can anyone determine someone's reliability in claiming corruption with no evidence? Also, what do you mean no evidence? Like, are you not aware of all, like Bert Ehrman? Look up Bert Ehrman. What did he say about the Bible? How much of the Bible do you have? Just look up his lectures. Yeah, brother Muhammad Aliyah says the right thing. Corruption of the Bible is a fact, even according to the scholars. Yeah. So it isn't baseless. Like even Christian scholar says this. And Brother MENJ, by the way, interviewed bunch of like Bible scholars in his channel. You guys can check it out, where they openly admitted that the Bible is corrupted. Like Bible has missing passages, missing books, and no one knows who wrote them. So it's just not reliable. And regardless, Brother MENJ should join us in a few minutes, hopefully. Okay, Brother Big says, "Can I? How can I ask question?" Not right now, bro. Let's go through the video and then inshallah we'll do a Q&A.
Before her marriage was consummated with Muhammad, and so some conclude that she must have therefore been much older. She must have been 16 or 18 or
Brother Big says, "What are some of the easiest ways to show the length of corruption to stubborn Christians?" I mean, just show them a lecture of like Bert Ehrman regarding the Bible. How much of the Bible do they have? How unreliable it is. You can talk about like just look up like corruption in the Bible. Right, there are multiple corruption or contradiction in the Bible. Sorry, I'm saying corruption. Contradictions in the Bible. It's full of contradiction. And so yeah, and again, synergy falls. You're wasting my time. I'm gonna answer that. So basically, claim the Quran is corrupted, blah, 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 blah. Synergy falls, he's like, I can call myself a prophet. Yeah, Jesus also calls himself a Messiah. So why do you trust him? Moses said he's a prophet. Why do you trust him? Like, there's a reason for why we trust he's a prophet of God. Like, I'm not going to give you the whole list of arguments here in like a live stream that has nothing to do with like prophet of Salam. If you want, I can give it to you. You can go to Brother Farid's channel. He has a whole playlist. You can read, you can watch that. You can watch the whole playlist. And he gives all kinds of evidence as to why Prophet Muhammad is a prophet of God. And instead of wasting my time here, you can go and watch it as to why we believe he's a prophet of God, or any other videos on YouTube that proves why Prophet Muhammad is a prophet of God, and then come back to us regarding our belief, right? We're not just saying it because we feel like it. Obviously, we believe he's a prophet of God. So I'm not sure like what your point is here. But regardless, and again, please don't ask me any question that is irrelevant here. Okay, this is nothing to do with the video. Okay, so again, I'm gonna block you. You're wasting my time. Yeah. Regardless, let's continue.
or 21 by the time Muhammad consummated the marriage with her. So here, if it really says that she'd reached puberty, this will contradict some of the other hadiths that say she hadn't. But
yeah, David, it would, wouldn't it? But here's the thing. Brother Muhammad Aliyah says, you are baselessly claiming to be a prophet. Prophethood of Muhammad has evidence and prophecies. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that this is like this, like Christians. He's like asking me, like, why should I believe? Like, I don't know if he's a Christian or an atheist. I'm not sure. He's like asking me, like, why do you believe the Bible is corrupted? Like, dude, just read it yourself. Just read it yourself. Like, I mean, there's so many contradictions. I mean, in the Bibles, in the Torah, by the way, in the Tanakh, it says that Jesus is in hell. Do you believe that Jesus is in hell? And in the New Testament, it says that rabbis who like did not follow him are in hell. So who is in hell? They both can be in hell at the same time. One of them is hell and one of them isn't, right? So these are two completely contradictory claims. Now, the best explanation of this is that they're both corrupted. Like, these books cannot be trusted because they have been corrupted by people. So we don't know like which one is the correct one. So if you like follow like the Bible, so you should sort out this problem yourself. For us, it's simple. Like, we don't believe these books. These books have been corrupted, and it's proven by the fact that there are contradictory claims here. And there's so many other problems that I'm not going to get into because that's not the video is about. But regardless, let's continue. Yeah, okay. So basically here he's going to talk about this. And let me pull up the hadith. So here's the hadith. So, but regardless, let's continue.
At least Muslims would have a good case for saying that she'd reached puberty if this is in fact what it says in the Arabic. So could you break down the Arabic where it clearly says right here that she had reached puberty?
There is no word in the Arabic at all denoting puberty. My suspicion is like
Okay, so this isn't true. This is absolutely false. Like, this guy is supposed to be like an Arab expert, but he's not much of an expert, it seems like. Now, the thing is that there isn't a clear-cut word for puberty. Just because there isn't one doesn't mean that they can't describe it in some other form, right? Because the thing is that if you read the hadith, or if you read the fiqh, and I'm going to read it to you guys, Imam Qurtubi's explanation, how he explained what the age of marriage is, and he gives so many evidence and so many things where you can clearly see that there's a clear distinction that the Arabs had at the time between a child and an adult. Okay, now there was no concept of teenager at that time, so they had two concepts: one, either you're a child or you have reached puberty and you have become an adult, right? There is a clear distinction here. uh, there's a clear distinction here. So, and this makes it clear that when Arabs talk about someone growing up uh, or something, then it refers to. By the way, I think I need to make someone a mod. Brother Muhammad Alia, I'm gonna make you a mod. Can you like keep these people idiots in check? Hold on, let me just. Uh, okay, so brother Muhammad Alia, Allah, you are now a mod. Can you like kick out all these like stupid people that are like derailing the conversation? Just kick them out, okay? Synergy is come back or something. Okay, so I'm gonna block you. You're insulting the Prophet Sallallahu. By the way, brother Muhammad, if you see like any kind of like Christian trolls, just kick them out, right? Block them, inshallah. So yeah, so it's good that we're getting some Christian trolls, which means this stream should be beneficial. So yeah, oh, as I was saying, so yeah, just because there isn't a clear-cut word in Arabic that says that puberty does not mean they are not referring to puberty. Okay. Uh, so for example, like I can say that like a like I was a child when I was 6, but then I grew up, right? So obviously when I'm like 7 or 8 doesn't mean like I immediately grew up, but it means that I matured more or I gained more experience, right? uh, Brother Usman Malik says, what just happened? What do you mean, what happened? Oh yeah, brother Muhammad Alia, he's Allah, he's a mod now. So yeah, by the way, if you guys see any kind of like Christian trolls or atheist trolls, just kick them out. Don't kick them out if they're like not insulting people, but like if they're like insulting the Prophet or like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then just kick them out. Right? I'm not gonna deal with that nonsense. Yeah, I blocked him because like this is he was just bringing up points that has nothing to do with the video. So regardless, let's continue with the video. Inshallah.
they took a word here, aqil, meaning recall or as far as I can remember, and somehow they're connecting this to puberty. That's my only.
That is also false. This is not true. Akals doesn't just mean like remembrance. Okay, let me show you guys a hadith where inshallah it'll be clear. Okay, let me stop sharing and let me share the hadith with you guys. Brother Birdnest says Salam, Walaikum Salam, brother. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. from tab, say Muslim book of rules. Okay. Now you guys can see the hadith in the screen. In this hadith, let me read the hadith so you guys can understand what's happening here. Inheritance of Kalala. Jabir bin Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, Allah's apostle and Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, visited me on foot uh, in Banu Salama and found me unconscious. He, the Holy Prophet, called for water and performed ablution and sprinkled out of it the water over me. I felt relieved. I said, Allah's Messenger, what should I do with my property? And this verse was revealed. Allah enjoins you concerning your children. To me, male is equal to the portion of two females. Now, if you notice this word, I think it's this one, yeah. This is akal, right? So when she lost her senses in the hadith, as you can see, unconscious. So akal can also mean senses, like coming to your senses, right? It doesn't simply mean like, your memory. Brother Nas says that, remember, there is an explicit Sahih hadith that Aisha herself stated that a girl becomes a woman at 9, showing, yeah, there's a hadith. Now, the thing is that with the problem with that, like, is that a lot of people, they say that the hadith is weak, but the thing is that there's so many evidence that shows that Aisha Ra did believe herself to be an adult or mature. So when you combine that hadith with other evidences, that does prove that she was more mature or more adult in that sense. But there are more evidence for this. But yeah, in this hadith, you can clearly see that akal doesn't simply mean that, memory. It also means coming to your senses, which means that at that time, Aisha Radhanu, she started remembering stuff, right? And here's the interesting thing. According to Dima Amso, and she is an associate professor in the Department of Cognitive Linguistic and Psychological Science at Brown University, she says the following in an article on Scientific American. Let me put up the article. Now, one thing you need to understand, like at the time in the hadith that David Wood quoted, Aisha says that since that time she remembered her parents were following Islam, meaning at that time her memory was clear, like it was crystal clear. She could remember things and she could understand what she was remembering. Okay, this is known in psychology as like some people call it as memory crystallization, right? Memory crystallization, and this is something that happens when you reach puberty. Okay, this only happens when you reach puberty. Okay. This only happens when you reach puberty. And hold on, let me just share the screen. Oh, where is it? Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the article, it says it is written by a psychologist or neurologist. It says, when do children start making long-term memories? Okay. Let me just read it. Okay. Do you guys see this? Okay, I'm going to read it. Some evidence suggests that young children do have episodic memories of their infancy but lose them later. A 6-year-old, for instance, can remember events from before her first birthday, but by adolescence, which means when they reach puberty, she has completely probably forgotten that celebration. In other words, young children can likely make long-term like memories, but those memories typically fade after a certain age or a stage of brain development. Memories made in later childhood and beyond are more likely to stick because the young brain, especially the hippocampus and the frontal partial regions, undergo important development changes that improve our ability to bind, store, and recall events. So basically, what this article is saying is that at the time when we reach puberty, our memories start to crystallize, or our memories start to become more more effective. Like we can start remembering things more effectively. And if you read the hadith, this is exactly what Aisha says. She says that she started remembering that her parents were Muslim or practicing Muslim. Okay, now a child wouldn't remember that kind of stuff. Okay, nor would they understand it. The fact that she remember it means that she reached puberty. Okay, the fact that she remembers it so clearly means she reached puberty. Okay, this is a sign of puberty itself. Okay, there are more evidence that I will show inshallah later on. But so this is like one evidence that shows that she actually reached puberty. And let's look at the hadith again. So this is here. Just so brother Muhammad Ali says, how do you make this highlight? And I didn't silence him. I did by refuting him though. I genuinely don't see how he isn't refuted. Yeah, bro, like he didn't make an argument. Like, I mean, the guy who was like on the chat, he was just trolling. Okay, just also he was talking about things that are not relevant to the video anyway. So and that's why I actually kicked him out and told her to kick him out. But regardless, so yeah, let me share the screen. Here we go. Where is it? Okay. Okay, so if you read the hadith, it says that Aisha Ra says, the wife of the Prophet, I had seen my parents following Islam since I attained the age of puberty. Okay, so she clearly remembers this, like, so which means that her memory has crystallized, which means that she reached puberty. Okay, this is a sign of puberty actually. People don't remember things at an early age, which means she was probably at 8 or 9 and she reached puberty. Okay, so yeah, it's a clear evidence. I can end the video here, but still, like, there are more evidence that I want to show you guys. And yeah, there are more evidence regarding this, but regardless, let's just continue with the video and let's see what other nonsense they bring up. Oh, by the way, a bro asked how do you make a highlight. So basically you press Ctrl F, and if you have a particular passage that you want to highlight, you just paste that passage and it will already automatically highlight by itself. Okay, so let me share the video and video file. Hold on, where is it? Your screen. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly go through it.
Suspicion here.
Because
So
they're just speaking nonsense.
in Arabic, it doesn't say puberty. You're saying that they're interpreting something else to mean puberty for
That's
us.
right, exactly.
Okay, so you're saying that means something when I can recall.
That's pretty much. I mean, it has to do with the aql, meaning brain, memory. So they're either thinking of it as far as
Akal doesn't simply mean memory. It can also mean, as I said, it can also mean, senses, coming to your senses, which is also can refer to puberty, right? But this instance here specifically is referring to puberty because people don't usually remember or have crystallized memory at that early. They only have that when they reach adolescence or when they reach puberty.
I can recall, or when I started to remember things, somehow they make a connection here to that.
And there's no connection, right? There's no connection between saying, hey, from the age I could recall things, and saying, oh, that's puberty. As if when you reach puberty, that's when you start being able to remember things, right?
Yeah, that's literally what the scientists said. Okay, that's literally what the Scientific American said. Now, the thing is that, yes, you can sometimes remember things even earlier than this, but usually you don't have like vivid memory of this kind until you have reached puberty or until you have your senses, right? So, okay. So yeah, this is exactly what the study said, but regardless,
Unless there is a different science that they're following.
That's weird stuff.
yeah, I just showed it. So yeah, we can
Unless you,
this.
I don't know who to believe here, so let's go ahead and take a look at another Muslim translator, Aisha Ra, one of the most popular Muslim translators in recent years. Let's go ahead and check out her translation of the exact same.
So yeah, basically they like show like different translation of this like hadith, and they try to make it seem like, oh, there's a big conspiracy. There's no conspiracy here. Okay, this hadith is talking about puberty, and akal usually, in this context, is referring to puberty. And there are more evidence for this, but I just want to finish through this video.
Number 464, it is related that Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, said, I have no recollection of my parents doing anything but following the deen of Islam. So she agreed with you. It actually has something to do with remembering certain things.
That's
Okay,
right.
this is the same hadith, by the way. I have no recollection of my parents doing anything but following the deen of Islam. So yeah, as far as she can remember, meaning when she reached her memorization process or crystallization process, she remembered it, which is a sign of puberty.
And Aisha is taking a unique look here. She's saying what Aisha, the other Aisha, the wife of Muhammad, is saying is that when it comes to religious practices, all I can remember is that my parents were always Muslims. So she's not saying Aisha did not remember things before that, but she's saying from a religious practice of her parents, all she can remember is that both of her parents were actually
Always Muslims.
Right.
But she's saying as long as she can remember, they were Muslims. Correct. But this would mean that she was actually very young, right? Because it would mean she doesn't even remember.
Wait, what? Okay, so here he makes a very stupid point. So basically, he says that she doesn't remember before they were Muslim. Yeah, she was born after, Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu became a Muslim. What is he talking about? Like, Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu became a Muslim, and after that, Aisha radhiyallahu anhu was born. Right? So, by the Virgil powers, I don't know if you're like a Christian or what. Like, please don't like start a debate that has no, that is not relevant to the video. And this is a warning. Don't do that.
Right. But she's saying as long as she can remember, they were Muslims when they were Muslims. Different versions of events.
That's true. And keep in mind, when Muhammad even proposed to marry her, Abu Bakr has been following him for years. He was among the first to follow Muhammad. So this also shows that Aisha is not talking about the moment she married Muhammad. No, she's talking about for as long as she can remember, even before this incident of being proposed to him, that she can't recall her parents worshiping idols or doing any of the Quraysh rituals or whatever the case might be. She can remember them just being followers of
Yeah. So basically, she understood and memorized this event, and she memorized it pretty clearly, which again is an sign of puberty. But regardless,
of Islam. So she was actually young. She was too young to remember when her parents weren't Muslim. So it's very interesting.
she's not too young. She wasn't born yet. Okay, let me just. This is so stupid. Let me just share this. Where is it? Okay, so there's a hadith. Where is it? I wanted to show you guys something. Okay, so in case you guys don't know, like, so basically, Aisha radhiyallahu anha, she was born after Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu already embraced Islam. So this is a completely relevant point.
That the other translator would translate that as reaching puberty when you're saying it doesn't mean that. Aisha Buli's saying it doesn't.
So yeah, but regardless, let's just.
I mean, but here's what I find most interesting. I'm going to go to another hadith in
So
Sahih
yeah,
al-Bukhari
basically they
where
just
it seems
go
to be
to
the
like
same
different translations and like
beginning of the exact same story.
tries to like.
This is
give
Sahih al-Bukhari
some
number
kind of-
2297, and it's the same thing. Narrated Aisha, wife of the Prophet. Since I reached the age when I could remember things, I see my parents.
You see this? So basically, all of the different like narrations of this hadith say the same thing, which is that she started to remember things. Okay. Virgil power, please block him. He's insulting the Prophet ﷺ again. I'm gonna block you. Yeah. Look. I don't know where these morons come from. Like they're probably like followers of like the psycho. But anyway, so yeah. By the way, brother Muhammad, please like block any kind of like Christian trolls, the moronic Christian trolls that we're getting. Looks like we're being raided by the Christians. But anyway, yeah, I blocked him, by the way, Virgil Powers. So yeah, if you see any Christian trolls, block them. It seems like we're getting a lot of them. But anyway, so yeah, let's just finish up with this video. And because after that, I'm going to do a longer analysis where I'm going to show evidence after evidence after evidence that shows that Aisha radhiyallahu anha did reach puberty from a scientific point of view, not just like from a hadith point of view. So yeah, inshallah, let's go through it.
Parents worshiping according to the
Blah, blah, blah.
from the time she could remember.
So
In other words,
basically, they just
that is trying to sway things or
so
tilt.
basically their whole argument is like they like take it like they take like different kind of like translations, and they try to make it seem like, oh, look at this translation are different than this translation, or this translation is different than this translation. And basically they said they're trying to say that when Aisha Ra says that she reached puberty, she actually said she just started to remember things, which is a sign of puberty. So you can say it as a puberty. And there are, and Islamic scholars have like a clear distinction, but I'm going ahead, but let's just continue.
The balance, if you wish, and try and maybe there's an agenda, as you stated, and you can't blame them. I mean, they know the English audience is going to be disturbed by things like this, so they're
So like this is so hilarious. Like, so basically they made up this conspiracy theory, but they're saying that, oh, we did Muslim scholars did this on purpose. Again, like if like Muslim scholars wanted to deceive people, they would have changed the Arabic. You genius, you idiot. They wouldn't change the translation, because there are people who read Arabic. There are Muslims who know Arabic. Why would they, like, if they want to deceive people, they would change the Arabic. They wouldn't change the like translation. They would change the Arabic and the translation. Okay. like where are they like getting these like stupid points? Oh, they just want to deceive people. Yeah, right. This is so stupid. Brother Muhammad says, okay, I'm still new to this. No problem, bro. It's fine. But regardless, let's just continue.
trying somehow to lessen
Blah, blah, blah.
They even include some commentary by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, considered by many to be the greatest hadith scholar of all time, specifically saying that Aisha had not reached puberty when she's taken to Muhammad.
Yeah, because he thought puberty means at the age of 15. Again, this is something I'm going to talk about. Inshallah, I will quote Imam Qurtubi, explain the fiqh very in explicit detail. So if you guys please stay with me, and inshallah I will explain this. But
His house to consummate the marriage. There's
basically Imam Hajar al-Asqalani was his opinion was that people reach puberty at the age of 15, and he thought that Aisha didn't reach age of 15. That's why he said that she didn't reach puberty. But usually, another opinion is that she did reach puberty, right? So, yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean that she didn't actually physically reach puberty. Okay, but regardless.
in number 5153 is that you can marry and divorce after having sex with a prepubescent girl.
Blah, blah, blah.
One spot of Sahih Bukhari, they translate something as puberty when, as you're saying,
is a case called TMRT, the miracle of retranslation.
the miracle of retranslation, ladies and
Yeah, this reminds me of a meme. Hold on, let me see if I have it. Where is it? I think I have the meme here. Let's see. I think I don't have it here, but I just shared this. Yeah, I mean, like, Brother Muhammad Allah said, go to Jason Skywalker. He has a video debunking this with evidence by going to the commentary and simply reading. That is how easy they are to debunk. Yeah, I mean, you can just check out my video, and I'm gonna show you to you guys the evidence myself. Let me just finish.
gentlemen.
this.
So notice what we can say here. There are Muslims all over the world who are really bothered by Muhammad's relationship with Aisha. They're told all their lives that Muhammad
no.
is the greatest man who's ever lived, and he was perfect in every way. And then they find out that Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old.
Blah,
Well,
blah,
right here,
blah, blah,
very interesting by the
blah, blah.
using this quotation from.
Okay, so here's I'm gonna say a few things. So this is a snapshot of an Yakin article that is posted by Asadullah. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. You guys know my history with Asadullah, and by I think it was by Dr. Brown. So they made this article, and in this article they quoted this hadith, and they basically said that, yeah, and they quoted it correctly, which is that age of reason. And they basically, and the thing is that, again, like, this is my message to like Yakin guys, please fix like your website and what you wrote there. The same thing with like sunnah.com, guys, please fix the mistranslation, because this is confusing Muslims. So you guys have an obligation, because, and that's the thing, this is the reason I wanted to make this video, because this needs to be clarified. Because when Muslims use this hadith and they see that, oh, it's mistranslated, but by the way, this hadith is not mistranslated. This does refer to purity. But the other hadith, which is something oftentimes Muslims use, which doesn't actually say, and this is specifically a message to sunnah.com, which doesn't say that like she reached menstruation, but it says like she's out of breath or something. So if sunnah.com, anyone from sunnah.com is watching, please guys fix it. So because these enemies of Islam don't use it against us. It's like stupid points, regardless.
Sahih al-Bukhari, and they don't try to I had seen the age of puberty. Not a day passed, but the Prophet visited us both in the mornings and evenings. So they're saying that in Arabic it refers to the age of reason. They're saying that's puberty. That's puberty. Yeah, there are people who are reason really
Be a medical research that was done and saying, hey, we're relying on this research, and that's why we're.
Yeah, I just quoted it. Scientific American. You can check it out.
There's no such thing as the age of reason. All she's saying is, for as far as I can remember, has nothing to do with reason. Has nothing to do with knowing right from wrong. This is just remembering thing. Age of reason to me is that you know what is right, you know what is wrong now, and you're accountable for it.
Yeah, and
yeah, it means puberty. Okay, so
very simple, very straightforward. And then Arabic says, who doesn't know?
blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's it. That's it. That's about it. That's the whole nonsense. Now let me go through some of the commentary by some Islamic scholars, so that you guys understand what I'm talking about. I'm going to share a tafsir of verse 4:6, and inshallah we'll read the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, and he explains this in a very good detail. So yeah, let's read it. Okay, let me find the text. Okay, so let me share the screen. Okay, so this is in Quran.com, and hold on, let's just read the verse first so we can understand what is being talked about. Surah Nisa, and yeah, this is in Surah Nisa. So in Surah Nisa, hold on, let me just share the verse first. Yeah, here we go. Let me share the screen. Surah Nisa. Okay, here we go. Okay, it says the following. This is chapter 4, verse 6. Test the orphans in their ability until they reach marriageable age. Then, if you perceive in them sound judgment, release their property to them, and do not consume it excessively and quickly. So here you can see that then if you perceive in them sound judgment, it says that until they reach marriageable age, and then if you perceive in them sound judgment. So marriageable age and sound judgment are linked. In case you guys noticed, these two things are linked. So let's look at the tafsir of Ibn Kathir and see what he said in regards to this verse. Let's look at the English translation here. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Oh, sorry. Okay, here, Ibn Kathir explains this verse as the following. He says, until they reach the age of marriage, which means the age of puberty. Okay, age of puberty. Okay, now Ibn Kathir is not some modern Muslim apologetics. Okay, who's like trying to deceive people, according to David. Okay, he's not some modern Muslim apologetic. Okay, and he is referring to age of marriage in the Quran as the age of puberty. Okay, and he says the following. Then he continues. According to Mujahid, the age of puberty, according to the majority of scholars, comes when the child has a wet dream. In his Sunan, Abu Dawud recorded that Ali said, I memorized these words from the Messenger of Allah. So he is quoting a hadith which says the following. There is no orphan after the age of puberty, nor vowing to be silent throughout the day to the night. In another hadith, Aisha and other companions said that the Prophet said, the pen does not record the deeds of three persons: the child until the age of puberty, the sleepy person until waking up, and senile until sane. Or the age of 15 is considered the age of adolescence. Or so basically, it is true that in Arabic, I don't think they have a specific word for puberty, but they do refer to a growing up, right? Growing up, or someone being mature, which usually refer to puberty. Okay. And Ibn Kathir quotes another hadith which says the following: it is recorded that Ibn Omar said, I was presented in front of the Prophet on the eve of the Battle of Uhud while I was 14 years of age, and he did not allow me to take part in the battle. But I was presented in front of him on the eve of Battle of Al-Khandaq when I was 15 years of age, and he allowed me to join the battle. And based on this hadith, a lot of scholars said that age of puberty or age of growing up usually referred to when boys reach the age of 15. Right. This is a very common fiqh position in Islam, and this is why a lot of people think that the reason Ibn Hajar Asqalani said that Aisha Ra didn't reach puberty is because she was not at the age of 15 yet. She was probably 14 at the time of this doll hadith takes place. So yeah, and this is the opinion of Ibn Kathir, and he clearly says that puberty or age of growing up refers to uh, you know wet dreams, or when people start to have wet dreams. And by the way, there's scientific evidence which shows that wet dreams only happens when you reach puberty. This doesn't happen before then. And yeah, now let's take a look at Imam Qurtubi and what he said. Now, unfortunately, the tafsir of Imam Qurtubi is actually in Arabic, so I'm gonna read a translation of you guys. Now, the translation may not be fully accurate, but still, if you guys want to check it out, read Imam Qurtubi's tafsir. So let me share it. Stop sharing. Share it. Share the screen. And, okay, you guys should be able to see this. Okay, so this is a translation of Imam Qurtubi's tafsir. Let me make it a little big so you guys can check it out. Okay. So Imam Qurtubi says the following: the third, the Almighty is saying, even if they reach the age of marriage, i.e., dreaming. God Almighty says, and if the children among you have reached puberty, i.e., the state of marriage, puberty is accomplished by 5 things: 3 things that man and woman share, and 2 that are specific to woman, namely undefined menstruation and pregnancy. Menstruation and pregnancy. Okay? So Imam Qurtubi clearly defines growing up or puberty as menstruation, or age of marriage as menstruation. Okay, here he's clearly saying that age of marriage, when in the Quran Allah talks about age of marriage, is referring to puberty or menstruation. Okay, so yeah, I actually did reach puberty. Okay, because that's how the Quran defined it as the age of marriage, meaning age of puberty. And with regard to menstruation and pregnancy, the scholars did not differ in that it is puberty, and that the obligation and rulings are obligatory with them. And they differed in the 3, as the germination and age. Now, what age do people reach puberty is something there's a difference of opinion on. So, for example, he quotes a bunch of scholars. Al-Awzi, Al-Shafi, and Ibn Hanbal said 15 years of puberty for someone who has not had wet dream. This is saying of Ibn Wahab as where is it? Okay, for someone who had a wet dream, this the germination of age. Imam Shafi and Imam Hanbal said 15 years of puberty for someone who has not had a wet dream. This is the saying of Ibn Wahab, Asba, Abdul al-Malik ibn al-Majsun, Omar ibn Abdul Aziz, and a group of people from Medina. And Ibn al-Arabi chose it. Those who have reached this age are obligated to have the limits and obligations. Asbaq ibn al-Faz said, what we say is that the age of puberty by which the religious obligation and the religious obligations are adhered to is 15 years. That is what I like best and what is best for me, because it is the limit that contributes to the jihad and for those attending the fighting. He cited the hadith of Ibn Omar when the day of the trench was shown when he was 15 years old, and it was permitted, and it was not permissible for anyone's day because he was 14 years old. Malik Abu Hanifa said, and this is the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa, and he said, others said, a person who had not had a wet dreams does not rule until he reaches what no one has reached him except for wet dream, and that is 17 years. 17 years. So Imam Abu Hanifa's opinion was that someone does not reach puberty until they're 17. 17. So his opinion was even more later. Okay. So usually, Imam Shafi, he's saying that people reach puberty at the age of 15, and Abu Hanifa, he said that people reach. Some people said that people reach puberty at the age of 17. Okay, so obviously, unless they reach, they show signs of puberty at an earlier age, like Aisha Ra did, right? So, and there's a hadith, and this is a hadith from sunnah.com. I will give you guys the link, read it for yourself. The Prophet said there are three persons whose actions are not recorded: a sleeper till he wakes up, a boy till he reaches puberty, and a lunatic till he comes to reason. Abu Dawud says, Ibn Jumazi, and he added that, and an old man who is feeble-minded. I can read about this in sunnah.com. I'll give you guys the link. So basically, what this hadith shows is that a boy is completely free from any kind of responsibility until he reaches puberty or he grows up, right? And that sign of growing up is, having wet dreams and having sexual thoughts, right? That's what he's referring to. So this is the Prophet himself saying this. Now think about this for a second, right? Do you guys honestly think that Prophet himself would say that someone is a child when they haven't had wet dreams or sexual thoughts until they starts having sexual thoughts, and then he's gonna marry a child? Like, do you honestly think that makes sense? Because that makes no sense. Like, why would he say that? Here the Prophet is clearly making a distinction between a child and someone who is having sexual thoughts, or someone who's mature, or someone who's reached puberty, right? And that's what he's talking about. And this is true for all of the Arab society back then. They clearly made a distinction between someone who's a child and someone who has reached puberty, or someone who's having sexual thought, right? That means that they're having wet dreams, right? This means that they've reached puberty. And there are other signs as well, like for the menstruation as well is another one. So yeah, here he's clearly saying that as people are free from any kind of responsibility until they reach puberty. So if the Prophet himself said this, then what makes David would think that when he marries someone, he's gonna marry a child? That completely goes against this hadith. Doesn't make any sense. Now let me read to you guys another article that I found. This is in WebMD. Let me just stop sharing. And this is a peer-reviewed article by a doctor. I believe it's by a dermatologist or someone who specializes in skin. Let me share the screen. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Okay, let me. The causes of wet dream. Now, you guys may be surprised. Yeah, but does like having wet dreams prove that someone has reached puberty? Yeah, it does. Medically speaking, people don't usually have wet dreams unless they've reached puberty. Okay. So here it says cause of wet dreams. This is true for women, by the way, as well. But here they talk about boys. When males go through puberty, their body starts producing the hormone testosterone. Once your body makes the testosterone, it can release sperm. This means you'll be able to fertilize an egg. If you decide to have a baby in the future, it also means that you can get a girl pregnant if you have sex. So yeah, people don't have wet dreams usually unless they have reached puberty. So this is another sign that someone has reached puberty. Someone has reached puberty. Okay. So yeah, based on this, I think we can make an argument here. Hold on, let me share the screen. Oh, brother MENJ joined us. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Can you hear me?
Salam alaikum. Yes, I can hear you. Can you give me like about 10 minutes? I need to send my friend off, and then I'll come back and join the stream. I'll just be here for now.
10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Don't kick
Hold
me out.
on. Sure, no problem.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I'll see you in 10 minutes. All right.
Okay. Brother Muhammad Ayas says he was honored to be a mod. Sure, bro, no problem. I think he wants to leave. Let me see if let me unmod him. Uh, okay, let me just. Uh, okay, so yeah, I unmod brother Muhammad. By the way, bro, thank you for being a mod. Uh, so yeah, brother, brother Amy finally joined us. But it's kind of late. It's been like an hour. I think he told me that he was gonna join me in like half an hour. But regardless, so I'm almost finished with the video actually. I gotta talk to him about this. Like I'm almost finished actually. But I will wait. Inshallah, maybe he has like new points to add. Inshallah, brother Muhammad says thank you. Sure, bro, no problem. Anytime you can come to the channel. Inshallah, I'll make you a mod. Inshallah. Uh, so yeah, as I was saying, let me just share the screen. Where is it? Share the screen. Okay. So now that I've made all the evidences clear, let me make an argument, right? Because David Wood is an idiot and he doesn't even make a proper argument. So I'm going to give you guys a proper argument that you can use against these type of Christians and like Islamophobes. And this is the argument, right? Um, yeah, okay. This is the argument. So premise one, if the Prophet and early scholars made a clear distinction between children and adults, and the Prophet said that children are innocent, then it is unlikely that the Prophet would marry and consummate with a child. Premise 2. The Prophet and early scholars did make a clear distinction between children and adults, and the Prophet did say children are innocent, i.e., the pain has been lifted. Conclusion. Therefore, it's unlikely that the Prophet married a child, which means Aisha Ra was most likely to have reached puberty, meaning she had wet dreams or etc. Because that's the only logical conclusion, right? Because if the Prophet himself is saying that people are free from any kind of responsibility or any kind of sin or until they reach puberty, then it's very unlikely that he would marry someone who didn't reach or marry and consummate with someone who didn't reach puberty. Okay, it's just a nonsensical proposition, right? And also, this is true for other scholars as well. They all defined, someone at the age of marriage as someone who have reached puberty, right? This is how they define someone's age of marriage as someone who reached puberty. They would only do that, if the scholars would only have a consensus like this, if this was a tradition that went back to the Prophet, right? So it's unlikely that the Prophet ﷺ would marry like a child or someone who didn't reach puberty. And as you guys know, that the Prophet ﷺ waited 3 years before the marriage was consummated with Aisha Ra, which is another sign that she reached puberty, right? There's another argument you guys can use, which is this one. Premise one: if someone's memory has been crystallized, then it's most likely that they have reached puberty. Premise two: we say that in the hadith of Bukhari 476, Aisha Radhiyallahu memory crystallized. Conclusion: therefore, it's most likely that she reached puberty. Okay. So yeah, it's a very simple argument. Like there doesn't even need to be that much to it. Uh, Wait a minute, this guy's back again. Okay, I'm gonna block you again. Okay, so where is the thing? Okay, oh, hold on. Okay, now there's another evidence uh, which uh, which talks about Brother PPK said, "How do you know thousands left?" Bro, just ignore him, bro. He's like a troll. He's talking about like the Ridda Wars, but the Ridda Wars was not about apostasy necessarily. I mean, it was about apostasy. They did leave Islam, but they still believe like people like I already made a video on Musaylama. You can check it out. So basically, people started following these like false prophets who also claim to be prophet, but they also acknowledged Prophet ﷺ as a prophet as well. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about like apostate in the modern sense, right? But regardless, hold on, okay. So there's a hadith. Let me share the hadith with you guys. So is this hadith? I'm not gonna share the screen. Like, is this hadith? Let me just make the screen a little bigger so you guys can see it. Okay, hold on, wait. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet ﷺ engaged me when I was a girl of 6 years. We went to Medina and stayed at the home of Bani al Haritha bin Karaz. Then I got ill and my hair fell down. Later on, my hair grew again, and my mother, Ruman, came to me while I was playing in a swing with some of my girlfriends. And this is not the full hadith, but later on it says that she was when she reached 9, the marriage was consummated. This is Sahih Bukhari, 3894. Now, one important detail is very, very important for us to look at is that later on, then I got ill and my hair fell down. Okay. Now, this is actually another sign of puberty. Okay, block. By the way, how does this guy keep coming back up? Hold on, let me just deal with this troll once and for all. Okay, so I remove like this idiot. So basically, there's this Christian troll, Christian troll coming back here. Anyway, okay, so uh, okay, so yeah, what was I saying? Okay, so you guys can see this part in the hadith where it says, "Till I got ill, my hair fell down." Now, again, hair falling down is actually a sign of puberty. And you can let me quote to you guys another article from Healthline, but they said that one of the main causes of like or signs of puberty is when uh, people's hair falls down. Right, is another sign of puberty. Let me share this thing with you guys. Hold on. Okay, is this one? I think. Here we go. Hold on. Let me share the screen. Chrome tab. Brother Bird Nest. I had some colorful things to say about the troll. Was he a Hindu, by the way? I'm not sure. I think it sounded like he was a Christian. But anyway, so yeah, this is a article from Healthline. This is reviewed by a doctor. Yeah, Susan Bard, I think her name is. And yeah, so she says the following. Puberty causes fluctuations in hormone levels that can potentially affect hair growth. A pattern hair loss can start immediately after puberty and progress over time. Pattern hair loss is the most common cause of hair loss for man and woman. So yeah, if you lose your hair, this is actually a sign of puberty. So,
Okay, I'm back again. Assalamualaikum.
walaikum salam, bro. What happened, bro?
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I had a
How?
friend come by to my
Okay.
studio. Okay, I'm going to show you how my studio. Yeah.
Oh,
So this is my studio.
nice, nice.
Can you see the place?
Oh yeah, it looks nice.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So anyway, for this duration of this live stream, I'll just switch on the camera, right?
Yeah, sure. By the way, bro, I'm almost finished actually. I like
Oh,
it's already
really?
been 2 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Okay. I mean, maybe you want to give me some you want to let me give some comments on the last bit or something summary.
Yeah, sure. So do you want me to like pull up the video?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, just pull up and then I'll just give a summary or something.
Okay. Let me just finish up. I'm almost done. I'm just gonna make like my main argument, and then I do have some things to say about some of the Christian and biblical commentary. Maybe I would like your take on it. Maybe we can talk about
Sure,
that.
sure. Yeah, that's where I come in, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Let me share the screen. And
By the way, how many people are on the live stream now?
6 people. There were
Wow.
more, I think, a few minutes ago. So, by the way, funny thing is, Christian trolls keep coming back here. Oh, bro, are you there? Uh, bro, I lost you. Salam, bro, you there?
Yeah, I'm back again. Sorry, I accidentally closed the browser using my phone. So
Yeah,
my
sure, no problem.
yeah, sorry.
Okay, so yeah, so let me make my argument. This is like my last argument regarding this whole nonsense. So premise one. So basically, in the hadith, we see that Aisha Ra, she had a crystallized memory, which means she remembered things very clearly. Now, if someone has crystallized memory, it is a very strong sign that they have reached puberty. Another sign is hair loss, and we do see that she did suffer from hair loss before consummation of the marriage. So from this, we can make the following argument, which is that if someone had premise one, if someone had crystallized memory and shows other signs of puberty, such as hair loss and meeting the right age, like being 9 or 10 years old, then it is highly likely that they have reached puberty. Premise two, Aisha had crystallized memory and showed other signs of puberty, such as hair loss and meeting the right age of being like 9 or 10. Conclusion: therefore, it's highly likely that Aisha had reached puberty at the time of consummation of her marriage. So yeah, this is like my basic argument regarding this whole nonsense. So basically, David Wood, bro, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here. Don't worry.
Yeah. So basically, David Wood, he basically made this whole nonsense. By the way, do you want to react to the video just quickly?
Sure, maybe you just play the video and then I can give my
Sure,
thoughts on
sure,
it.
sure, 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 sure. Let me share the thing. 17 apologetics. By the way, this guy so like he put out like 3 or 4 videos in like 2 days.
Yes, I guess maybe his sponsors want him to show some evidence that he's being paid for a good reason. So he has to show some proof that
Yeah.
he's doing some work. So that is why he's starting to. Do you see the stupid video that he put about the ISIS guy? Just because this one ISIS guy decided to apostatize, so he thinks this somehow means this validates his points. Is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just so stupid. Like, okay, so they bring up this whole ISIS thing, and like what I mean, like if you're gonna bring up like every time like a Christian does something stupid, like they're gonna say, oh, they're just like exception and whatever. But whenever I also like why isn't ISIS like an example?
You see, the thing is, once this guy is already in ISIS, I don't think we Muslims will take him seriously. But this idiot David Wood, he
Yeah.
doesn't seem to realize that we don't take people who join ISIS really seriously. You see, so
Yeah.
basically, what his argument was in that video is that this ISIS guy said that he found contradictions in the Quran, that the Quran borrowed stories from the Syriac stories of Alexander, and because of the similarities, so therefore this guy decided to leave Islam. And you know the funny thing is, this ISIS guy didn't leave Islam for Christianity. He left Islam to become an atheist. So according to Christian theology, you see, the thing is, according to Christian theology,
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't believe in Jesus doesn't confess with, if you confess with your mouth, if you believe with your tongue that Jesus has been risen from the dead, therefore you'll be saved. So if you don't do this, according to Romans 10, chapter 10, verse 9, it means you're going to hell.
Yeah.
So this guy, this ISIS guy, he left Islam, he became an atheist.
Yeah.
He's going to hell according to Christian theology. So why
Yeah.
is David Wood supporting someone who's going to hell according to him, according to his religion? You see?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, by the way, the ISIS guy. Let me just deal with him a little bit. That's a fallacy, by the way, right? I mean, like just
Yeah.
because there's a similarity between two things doesn't mean
Yeah,
that they copied
maybe
one
that
another.
for that, I think for that maybe we can have a separate session on that particular point, because it's a long topic actually.
Yeah. I mean, like I also like we don't claim to be like a new religion anyway, so of course there are gonna be some similarities, right?
Exactly. But there are some fallacies in that argument, which I think we need to have a separate session for that, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. So yeah, do you wanna like 2x speed, like, or do you like to watch a
Yeah, sure,
normal
sure.
speed?
Maybe 1.5 or 2x speed is up to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Islam's most trusted sources, Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, had sex with a prepubescent 9-year-old girl. And we know that Aisha hadn't reached puberty because Muslim sources talk about her playing with
So
dolls in the presence of Muhammad. And according to Muslim scholars, girls were allowed to play with dolls only up until the age of puberty. Once they reached puberty,
yeah, so this is something like I dealt with. Like, what is your like response to
This
this?
is a dumb argument because he assumes that only those who are immature can play with dolls.
Yeah,
Excuse me, I have a whole collection of adult toy figures. Does that make
yeah,
me below the age of puberty? There's no ruling. There's no ruling saying that you can't play with dolls if you are below, if you're in at puberty, okay, or if you're, if that is only limited to those below puberty. Where did he get this ruling from? Okay,
yeah.
okay, his ruling is idiotic. Okay, he's not a mufti. He should check his fatwa, his fake
Yeah,
fatwa.
yeah. I think I quoted in my video on like Apostate Prophet Aisha, and I talked about this where Sheikh basically the thing is that Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, he basically said this that like she was playing with dolls and she didn't reach puberty, but the reason she said that is because I think he followed the Shafi school of thought, and in Shafi school of thought they believe that a person reaches puberty when they're 15, at the age of 15, right? And she wasn't
Yes, that's
15.
right.
But just because
Mhm.
someone isn't 15 doesn't necessarily mean they didn't reach
Yeah.
puberty, right? They
And you see,
usually,
that's the
yeah,
thing. That's the thing. There's another hadith during the Battle of Tabuk. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
And the Prophet visited her chambers, and in her chambers there were dolls hanging from the ceiling walls. In fact,
yeah,
what the Prophet asked, that there was a winged horse, and the
yeah,
Prophet asked, "What is this winged horse?" So Aisha replied that this winged horse represented Solomon's horse or something, Solomon's steed, and then the Prophet laughed.
yeah,
So even at this, and during the Battle of Tabuk, okay, after the
yeah,
Battle of Tabuk, the age of
yeah,
Aisha around this time was around 17 or 18 years old. So you
yeah,
could see around 17 or 18 years old, Aisha was still having dolls in her
yeah,
chambers, and the Prophet
yeah,
did not have any problems with it. So how
yeah,
do this guy, this Wood, this this psychopathic Wood, make come to the conclusion that only those who are below the age of puberty can play with dolls? Where did he get this
yeah.
conclusion from? You see?
Yeah, another thing is that like this opinion is also wrong, which is that you cannot have like any kind of shape in your house. Like for example, Sheikh Uthaymin, he and you can read like Basam Zao this article on this, where he talked about that. Sheikh Uthaymin basically said that the type of dolls that Aisha Radhana had wasn't like things that had like a clear shape. So it's kind of like just like a shape. It doesn't have like details, like it didn't
Yeah, it
have like a
doesn't have a
face or
proper
something.
form. Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
have a even
yeah,
you see, even the toys that I have, they are not in proper shape. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
there's one with a big head and one with small
yeah,
small hands. So it's not
yeah,
in a
yeah,
proper, it's not in a proper human form. So
yeah,
this
yeah,
kind of toys are actually allowed. Okay.
yeah,
That is why I collect these toys. So I don't there's nothing wrong from the fiqh point of view for me
yeah,
to collect these toys. But you see, this David Wood, he doesn't understand the definition of toys according to Islamic
yeah.
jurists. You see, he
Yeah.
needs to he really needs to learn
Yeah,
more about Islam.
yeah, yeah. Another thing is that maybe the ruling came later, right? The ruling regarding
Yes,
the
yes,
toys,
yes.
maybe it came later. Maybe it wasn't clear yet because at that
Yeah, I
time
mean,
Islam was
in
still
the
in its
first
early
century,
phase.
obviously, in the first century, first, second century, there wasn't any ruling yet. I mean, these rulings mostly they came during the Al Andalus period, the late
Yeah,
Umayyad period. Yeah.
yeah,
So all these fake rulings came later. Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
By the way, brother Adef said that according to anti-terrorism experts, most ISIS recruit and members from similar terrorist groups are religious novices and are largely illiterate in Islamic theology. Yeah, that's true. I mean, most cases they are not
Yes,
very educated.
but the video that David Wood did that about that
Yeah,
apostate, the apostate wasn't actually an illiterate in Islamic theology. Unfortunately, he was actually quite learned, but
yeah,
it could be because he spent a lot of time in prison, so maybe that depression got to him. Yeah, I would say there are other factors that caused him to apostatize, not because he found Islam to be untrue or whatever. It's just because of
yeah,
the conditions in prison, etc. So
yeah,
unfortunately, yeah, he turned out the way he did. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and the thing is that just because someone leaves Islam, like that proves what exactly? I mean,
yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
people leave
Yeah,
Christianity. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like his own friend. Like, I mean, isn't there like he has like a friend who left
Yes, C.L.
Christianity and became
Edwards.
a
Yeah,
Muslim apologist?
yes, brother C.L. Edwards, Abu Yazid.
Yeah, yeah,
He left. Yeah, he was moderating in his show with Sam
yeah,
Shamoun,
yeah,
and today he's not. He returned back to his, because he was an ex-Muslim before he became the moderator for this Christian
yeah,
show
yeah,
featuring David Wood and Sam Shamoun.
yeah,
And then later on, C.L. Edwards, he decided to think his life and study Islam again. And then
yeah,
he realized that Islam has always been right all along, that he was in
yeah,
error. So
yeah,
he left Christianity and he became a Muslim back again.
yeah,
So does that mean that, using this logic, his own
yeah,
friend
yeah,
became
yeah.
a Muslim? So maybe it means that Christianity is false after all, according to his logic.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just a stupid point, but let's continue on. So basically, at first, he quotes like this hadith.
Is about Aisha being taken to the house of Muhammad to consummate the marriage with her. So Aisha narrated, the messenger of Allah married me when I was 7 or 6. When we came to Medina, some women came. According to Bishr's version, Rahman came to me when I was swinging. They took me, made me prepared, and decorated me. I was then brought to the messenger of Allah, and he took up cohabitation with me when I was 9. She halted me at the door, and I burst into laughter. Abu Dawud said, that is to say, I menstruated. And I was brought in a house,
Yeah,
and
so basically, he quotes like this hadith and says that, look, this the Arabic doesn't actually say, menstruation, which is true. This is a mistranslation. So what? Like, what does it prove? Like, he's trying to say that Muslims are like taking this, like deceiving people, right? Where
You
kind
see
of like
the
deceiving.
problem with this, the problem with this, with David Wood's whole premise of assuming that Aisha was married off before she reached puberty, is that he assumed that the Arabs of the day during the time of the Prophet were so illiterate and dumb that they
Mhm.
are so inferior to his Western civilization that
Yeah,
they are willing to give up their own daughters, even
yeah,
though to be married, even though they have not reached puberty yet. This is the mentality. Basically, this is the point that he works from. Okay, so he assumes. You see, he assumes that pagan Arabs, or even the Arabs, the Quraysh during the time of the Prophet, were illiterate, dumb idiots who would give up their children to be married off before puberty. I mean,
right.
it doesn't make any sense. Would any parent want to give up their child,
Yeah,
when they are not at puberty, to someone else? I mean, just use logic. I mean, just use your head. Just use your
yeah,
logic. Would any sane parent agree to let
yeah,
their child be married off to someone else
yeah,
when the child is not ready for marriage? It
yeah.
just doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the Prophet himself, and I quoted the hadith, which says that people are, some people's deeds or actions are not recorded. For example, a sleeper till he wakes up, a boy till he reaches puberty, right? So here, the Prophet is
Exactly.
clearly making a distinction between a child and someone who has reached puberty, right?
And also
So,
another thing you need to point out is that, you see, the thing is that even all the hadiths agree that the Prophet married Aisha when she was 6 years old, and it
yeah,
was only 9. It was only 9 years old that the Prophet came to Aisha and decided to basically to live together with her.
yeah,
But what happened between the age of 6 to 9 years old? That is like 6, 7, 8, 3 years.
yeah,
So why did the Prophet had to wait and for 3 years before
yeah,
he decided to live together with her? Okay,
yeah,
if the Prophet was really such a depraved sex maniac who has such lust for a child, why does he need to wait 3 years? Why can't he
yeah,
just sleep with her when she was 6?
yeah,
Why was he forced to wait until she was 9 years old? You see, that's another
yeah,
thing. This is something that David Wood and all these Christians could never
yeah,
answer. You see, they just skipped to that. They just highlighted, oh, he married at 6 years old
yeah,
and he slept with her when she was 9. So what happened
yeah,
between the 3 years?
yeah,
You see the point that I'm trying to make? Yeah.
yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can share the hadith. I've already talked about this before. I'm not sure here again. Here, this is the hadith. And the Prophet clearly says there are 3 persons whose actions are not recorded. This is a hadith. Sleeper till he wakes, a boy till he reaches puberty. Now, the Arabic doesn't necessarily say puberty, but it says the grow up, right? But even then, there is a clear distinction between a boy, and someone who reaches puberty or grows up, right? So there
Exactly.
is a clear
Exactly.
distinction
Yes.
there.
Yes. Yes. In fact, in Islamic jurisprudence,
Yeah, yeah,
someone who reaches puberty, their responsibilities are much different from
yeah,
someone who has not reached puberty yet. There are some things in, for example, the fast. Okay, If you haven't reached puberty, you're not required to fast or even to pray. But after you have reached puberty, you're required to fast and to pray. You see, there's a distinction. Okay,
Yeah.
you're not supposed you're not
Yeah.
you're not going to be forced to pray or forced to fast when you are still a child or when you haven't reached puberty. This is something which again, people like David Wood, they don't see this, okay, because they have this Western supremacist mindset that everything from the West is superior to the Arabs of the time of the Prophet. So this is the problem actually.
So yeah, they basically quoted this hadith, and they quoted another hadith, and this is a very popular one. So basically, here in this hadith, it does say that she reached puberty, but the Arabic doesn't say it, right? So let's hear it.
The other doesn't say anything about menstruating. So I was hoping you could confirm what Muslims are telling us, that she had in fact reached the time. The Arabic in front of you, right?
Yes, I mean the Arabic
about Aisha menstruating. So now I'm just confused. I don't know who to believe here. I don't speak Arabic. Exact same hadith. This is the Salam edition of.
No, wait.
Well, the last I checked, yes.
Well, this is some great timing.
Remotely close to that.
Wow.
Why was the word?
So we can say that either that's just a mistake, it's just an error. Someone messed up the translation, or someone's trying to be deliberately deceptive to make people think it.
So that's the thing. Like they immediately jump to like deliberately deceptive, right? Because Muslims can never make a mistake. We're always deceiving people.
Because you see, the thing is, they assume, oh, Muslims are always wrong about the Prophet. Only the Western mindset is correct about the Prophet. You see, Muslims can never be unbiased about the Prophet. Only the Western Christian white supremacist mindset is right about the Prophet, and only the Western culture or Western civilization is more superior than that of the Arab culture. Therefore, the Western mindset is always right. You see, so this is the problem.
That I should reach puberty. If it is one, either that's just a mistake, it's just an error. Someone.
Oh, hold on. Where is that hadith? Came to me when I was 6. I think they talked about it earlier. This one. Okay, this one.
Puberty. So, since she reached the age of puberty, Aisha had reached puberty. But this is another example that is used by Muslims to show that Aisha had reached puberty. And here it specifically says that she reached puberty. So lots of Muslims go to this passage, and I've seen lots of non-Muslims say, hey, wait a minute, the hadith does claim that Aisha had reached puberty. Right here in Sahih al-Bukhari, number 476. So here we have narrated Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. I had seen my parents following Islam since I attained the age of puberty. So, since she reached the age of puberty, she's seen her parents following Islam. We have an idea when her parents started following Islam. So Aisha must have reached puberty well before her marriage was consummated with Muhammad. And so some conclude that she must have therefore been much older. She must have been 16 or 18 or 21 by the time Muhammad consummated the marriage with her. So here, if it really says that she reached puberty, this will contradict some of the other hadiths that say she hadn't. But at least Muslims would have a good case for saying that she reached puberty if this is in fact what it says in the Arabic. So could you break down the Arabic where it clearly says right here that she had reached puberty?
There is no word in the Arabic at all denoting puberty. My suspicion is like they took a word here, meaning recall, or as far as I can remember, and somehow they're connecting this to puberty. That's my only suspicion.
So yeah, that's another point that they made, which is a stupid point, because like even if you say that in Arabic there's no word for puberty, it doesn't mean that they can't like describe puberty. I mean, the hadith that I showed clearly, like it says that until they grow up, right? And that describes what exactly? Obviously, they're talking about puberty, right?
Exactly. I mean, the whole context of the verse of the hadith is clear that. And even the hadith says that she was the marriage was made at 6 or 7 years old, and the marriage was consummated when she was 9. So why 6 until 9? What happened between 6 to 9? Again, the reason is simple, because they were waiting for her to reach puberty. Otherwise, what would be the reason to wait that long? I mean, 3 years is a long time. Okay, it's not short. Wow. I mean, these people, they don't seem to use their brains properly. Why it took a long time for the Prophet to consummate his marriage?
For this, I actually shared Ibn Kathir's tafsir. By the way, David Wood actually loves Ibn Kathir. Okay, David Wood loves Ibn Kathir. I don't know if I have the video here. Let me see.
Because he doesn't know anything about Tafsir Jalalain. He doesn't know Suyuti. He doesn't know anyone else.
He loves Ibn Kathir because at one point he said that Ibn Kathir is like the best kind of like commentator or whatever.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. You need
to refute him. Look at this. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the video. I think it's someone here. Where is it? Yeah, this one. It's this one. So I have a bunch of snippet of like memes and videos here, and I'm uploading it right now.
Sure. Take your time.
Okay, here we go.
Islam's greatest commentator of all time, Ibn Kathir. Islam's greatest commentator of all time, Ibn Kathir. Islam's greatest commentator of all time, Ibn Kathir.
So yeah, so we clearly see that the psychopath loves Ibn Kathir, right? He loves Ibn Kathir. He quotes him
He
all the
loves
time.
Ibn Kathir because he thinks that Ibn Kathir supports his position. You see, that's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. So let's take a look and at the tafsir of Ibn Kathir regarding
Yeah.
verse 4:6. Now, in verse 4:6, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala talks about the age of marriage, right? He talks about orphans
Yes.
and says
Yes.
that until they reach the age of marriage. So let's see what Ibn Kathir said regarding the age of marriage, right?
All right.
Okay, hold on, where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, Allah said, and test the orphans. Hold on, let me share the screen. Share the screen. There we go. There we go. It is. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yep. I can. Yeah.
Okay. So here, Ibn Kathir says, Allah said, and test the orphans, meaning test their intelligence, as Ibn Abbas, Mujahid, and others said, until they reach the age of marriage. And he said, the age of puberty. The age of puberty. According to Mujahid, the age of puberty, according to the majority of scholars, comes when the child has a wet dream. And this is how, by the way, this is medically confirmed. I just quoted a article, a medical article, where they talked about that usually when people have wet dreams or sexual thoughts, it's when they reach puberty or when they go through adolescence, right?
That's
So
right.
this is a clear sign of puberty. And in his Sunan, Abu Dawud recorded Ali said, I memorized these words from the Messenger of Salam. There is no orphan after the age of puberty, meaning once someone has reached puberty, that means they're no longer an orphan or a child. So here, again, Prophet ﷺ is clearly making a distinction. And why would he do that unless, Arab society as a general had this kind of like idea, whereas that there's a clear difference between a child and someone who reached puberty or someone who has sexual thoughts or wet dreams, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a stupid point, and there's so many different arguments that I can make, and I've showed many evidences for it. For example, there's one incident where Aisha Ra talks about, for example, she said that her hair fall down, which is another sign of going through puberty. Then another hadith which she talks about, she had clear memory of her parents following Islam, and this is another sign of puberty because usually memorization or crystallization of memories happen when you reach puberty because usually children don't remember things, and yeah. So should we continue? But that's basically their argument. Another thing that they talked about is like the different like translations. They say that like, oh, Muslims have like this mistranslation, that means they're liars. What are your thoughts on this?
You see, the reason why the translations are like that there's extra words or anything, is because it wants to make the context clear.
Yeah.
For Arabic readers, it's not a problem because they can understand immediately the context, except for idiots like that Al-Fadi, okay? The Christian Arab, the fake Christian Arabs like Al-Fadi or Rock
He
Christian
wears
or
like a
whoever.
turban.
Yeah, so you see, so these idiots, these donkeys, they can't seem to understand the Arabic, okay? But for a natural Arabic speaker, it's easy for them to understand. But for us Ajami, we cannot derive that understanding from the text alone. That is why the translators have to elaborate and add a few more words. But but the meaning is there, and it does not. I mean, it's correct because that's what it actually means in the Arabic, even though the word is not there.
Yeah.
You see, so it's basically that. So with the exception of Dungu idiots like Al-Fadi and Rock Christian or whoever, all these fake Christians, fake Arab Christians, any other Arab, any other self-respecting Arab would understand the meaning of the text, without manipulating it.
And that's the thing, like there's so many incidents where and I also quoted Imam Qurtubi, where he makes such a good and clear and concise opinion regarding different fiqh position. Like for example, in one incident where Imam Shafi and Hanbali, I believe, said that the age of puberty until there are clear signs is usually at the age of 15, right? They actually said this, and I quoted just now before you were here. And another incident where he said that Imam Abu Hanifa said that age of puberty is 17. He actually said the age of puberty is 17, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, Imam Qurtubi actually quoted Imam Abu Hanifa saying this, which is now actually he quoted some other scholar, which he was quoting like a different opinion. But they were saying that until there are clear signs of puberty, like wet dreams or whatever, uh, uh, if you want to put an age, usually it's at the either it's at the age of 15 or at the age of 17, right? So yeah, and and this is like the clear fiqh position where you can clearly see that they're not talking about children. Okay, this is clear. Like no one is like talking about children, or no one is talking about child marriage. So
Exactly. Yeah.
so yeah, so and yeah, that's basically it. I
You
mean,
see,
like
another thing that these people
yeah,
like David Wood and others, they don't seem to understand also, is that in Islam we have a proper structure for marriage, for the akad, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
basically, before you do the marriage contract, there are several rules for the marriage to be valid.
yeah,
One of them being that the woman must be of sound mind and that
yeah,
she
yeah,
must agree to the marriage.
yeah, yeah,
So if she
yeah,
were below the age of puberty, how
yeah.
would
How would she
it
agree?
be
Yeah,
possible? Yeah, how would it be possible for her to make the decision to accept the
yeah,
marriage?
yeah.
You
And
see?
there are countless hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said you have to ask the virgin about the permission, right?
Exactly.
To
And her
ask.
silence is an agreement. You see?
Yeah,
Her
yeah,
silence is an agreement. Yeah.
yeah. How would a child give like a permission, right?
Exactly. That's the thing. So this mindset is due to the arrogance of so-called Western civilization supremacy. This white supremacists. Basically, to me, David Wood is just another white supremacist, a pseudo Christian who's actually an atheist in disguise. Yeah,
What makes you think he's an atheist?
I think that he's an atheist because he behaves. Because you see, the thing is, he he promotes people who apostatize from Islam, but they don't become Christians; they become atheists. And if we follow his Christian theology, these
Yeah,
people, these atheists that he supports, are going to hell anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah,
just because they live Islam doesn't mean that they're going to heaven, according to his
yeah,
religion.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
have
why?
some. Yeah,
So the thing is, why the support for this atheists? You see,
yeah,
Apostate Prophet is on his channel all the time. Do you notice that?
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. By the way, I didn't hear. I think your mic got muted.
Oh, so and that's all I have to say actually. So you see, the thing is, Apostate Prophet is always on his channel all the time because the funny thing is, David Wood believes that people like Apostate Prophet, he's an atheist, right? Apostate Prophet.
By the
So
brother,
people,
spreading the
yeah,
truth is here. By the way, Alhamdulillah.
yes, okay, all
He's
right.
did you see his channel?
Oh
I
yes,
think
I saw his channel. I think he made a similar argument with as me regarding David. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Hello. Yeah. Salam alaikum, brother. Spreading the truth.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
Well,
your channel.
Assalamualaikum.
I love your
Yeah, yeah. I
channel.
like your channel too. Keep up the good work,
Yes.
inshallah.
Yes. Maybe we should have a collaboration with him too one
Yeah,
day,
yeah,
inshallah.
yeah, yeah. Sure. We should have. By the way, I have a few Bible verses that I want your opinion on. Okay.
Sure.
Can I
Of
explain
course.
them?
I'm always here.
Okay, okay. Let's list some fun Bible verses that may or may not be talking about virginity, sex, that kind of stuff. Okay. So this is from Ezekiel 16, 6 to 9. 6 to 9. Okay, so this is, okay, let me share the screen. So here, basically, oh, sorry, share the screen. Okay. Yeah, can you see it? Bro, are you there?
Yes, I can see. Yeah, it's loading. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I can see it. Yeah. The
Okay.
Lord's faithless bride.
Yeah, can you have you read this? With the passage? By the way, this is quite interesting passage in the Bible. So basically, the whole verse goes from like, oh, I saw you in the field, I really liked you, right? It kind of sounds like a love song, for me, completely honest.
No,
What's up with
there's
that?
a
Do
lot
you
of
know?
there's a lot of such passages in the Bible, not just in Ezekiel.
Okay, should we read this? Can you read this? By the way, my throat is kind of numb.
Okay, sure. Let me read it. Okay, from 16 to the end. Do you
Yeah.
want me to read the whole thing?
From 16 to 9. Sorry, from the
16
first one
1,
to 9.
16 1 to 9. Okay, all right.
Nine. This one. Yeah.
Verse 9, is it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me read the top. Okay, so again, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, make known to Jerusalem her abominations, and say, Thus says the Lord God to Jerusalem, your origin and your birth are of the land of the Canaanites. Your father was an Amorite and your mother a Hittite. A Hittite. As for your birth, on the day you were born, your cord was not cut, nor were you washed with water to cleanse you, nor rubbed with salt, nor wrapped in swaddling cloths. Nor I pitied you to do any of these things to you out of compassion for you, but you were cast out on the open field, for you were abhorred on the day that you were born. And when I passed by, you and I saw you wallowing in your blood, I said to you in your blood, live. I said to you in your blood, live. I made you flourish like a plant of the field,
Okay,
and you grew.
can we
Yeah,
pause? What does it mean? I made you flourish. By the way, this is
made you
like a
flourish.
husband talking, I think.
Um, as I understand it, this like saying basically this guy neutered her and made her well again. It seems like that to me, right? The analogy, right? I know it's about Israel. It's actually about the nation of Israel, but the
No, no, this is
analogy
not
is like
actually. No, no, no. This is not about Israel. If you read, like in the later portion, it's actually
oh
talking about the woman.
yeah,
In the,
basically basically he's they are likening it to a woman, right? Okay.
yeah,
So do you want me to continue reading this?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So I made you flourish like a plant of the field, and you grew up and become tall and arrived at full adornment. Your breasts were formed, and your head had grown.
Yeah.
Yet, you were naked and bare. When I passed by you again and I saw you, behold, you were at the age for love. Oh my God. And I
Yeah.
spread the corner of my garment over you and covered your what? Okay, I'm not going to read that. I made my
Uh,
vow to you and entered into a covenant with you, declares the Lord God, and you became mine. Okay, right. Then I bathed you with water and washed off your blood from you and
by the way, this is
anointed you
important.
with oil.
Here, they're clearly saying washed off your blood, meaning she was like
Yeah,
menstruating, which is puberty,
yeah,
right?
menstruating. Yeah. Basically, her virginity,
Yeah.
her virginity. All right, her virginity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Let's
you want me to read?
continue reading. Yeah, yeah, sure.
You want me, until which verse?
Yeah, yeah. Washed off your blood.
Okay, wash off the blood from you and anointed you with oil. I clothed you also with embroidered cloth and shod you with fine leather. I wrapped you in fine linen and covered you with silk. And I adorned you with ornaments and put bracelets on your wrists and a chain on your neck. Okay. And I put a ring on your nose. This sounds like BDSM to me. And I put on your ring on your nose and earrings in your ears and a beautiful crown on your head. Thus you were adorned with gold and silver, and your clothing was of fine linen and silk and embroidered cloth. You ate fine flour and honey and oil. You grew exceedingly beautiful and advanced to royalty, and your renown went forth among the nations because of your beauty. For it was perfect through the splendor that I had bestowed on you, declares the Lord God. Okay. Read some more.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Read. It's
Okay.
gonna take an interesting turn.
All right, okay. But you trusted in your beauty and played the whore because of your renown and lavished your whorings on any passerby. Your beauty became his. You took
Yeah.
some of your garments and made for yourself colorful shrines, and on them played the whore. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. The like has never been, nor ever shall be. You also took your beautiful jewels of my gold and of my silver, which I had given you, and made for yourselves images of men, and with them played the W word again, whore. And you took your embroidered garments to cover them, and set my oil and my incense before them. Also my bread that I gave you, I fed you with fine flour and oil and honey. You set before them for a pleasing aroma. And so it was, declared the Lord God. Okay. And you took your sons and your daughters, whom you had born to me, and these you sacrificed for them to be devoured. Oh, that sounds like cannibalism. Okay. Were your whorings, oh my God, so small a matter that you slaughtered my children and delivered them up again as an offering by fire to them?
Yeah.
And in all your abominations and your whorings, oh my God, you did not remember the days of your youth. Oh, when you were naked and bare, wallowing in your blood.
Okay, so now we can
Uh,
stop. Now we can stop. Huh?
oh my
Okay,
God,
so
I've never read such a passage where there's so much whoring and blood and nakedness in a long time.
uh,
The last time I did
yeah,
that was last year when I read Ezekiel 23 out loud.
yeah. Okay, so the important part here is that he's clearly talking about blood, right? So he's clearly talking about puberty, right? So puberty is clearly associated with like marriage and like coming into age, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So in Judaism, we can clear cut say that puberty is the age of like consent or age of marriage, right?
Exactly,
From this at
exactly.
least, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so uh, now we know that Jesus like approved of the Mosaic law, right? Like the Old Testament.
Yes, yes, he did. Yeah, definitely. In fact, he said that I did not come but to fulfill the law. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is in Matthew. This is in Mark. This is
yeah,
in Matthew. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Now I have some interesting things to show you, and this is you probably know about this, right? You know about this,
Yeah.
probably,
Okay.
which is like there are some there in the Talmud. There's some really interesting rulings regarding age of marriage, right?
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, let me pull it up. Hold on, where
So,
is
yeah, take your time. Don't worry.
copy? Here we go. Now this is in the Babylonian Talmud, or yeah, it's called Nidda 45a, and basically, uh, Rabbi Yohanan. Hold on, where is it? Hold on, where is it? Let me find it. Okay. Now, let me share the screen, and I want you to read this. This is gonna be really funny. Uh, okay, here we go. Okay. Uh, can you read from the similarly Rabbi Yohanan?
Okay. Let me have a look. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, similarly, Rabbi Yohanan maintains that there is a second Tana who says that 30 days in a year are considered equivalent to a full year, and therefore a girl can be betrothed by intercourse from the age of 2 years and 30 days. Yeah, I know about this. Yes, yes. This is actually what I pointed out to if you
Yeah.
watch my videos regarding the age of Rebecca. So basically
Yeah.
this is where the ruling came from, because
Yeah.
Rebecca was 3 years old when she was married
Yeah.
to Isaac. So therefore,
Yeah.
the rabbis made the decision or came to the conclusion that marriage from puberty is considered to be 3 years and above. This is where the
Yeah.
ruling came from. They didn't pick this number out of thin air. They don't just simply say, "Oh, it's because it's 3 years old, therefore we like little girls, and therefore 3 years old seems to be a nice number." No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not because of this. It's because they
Yeah.
believe that Rebecca married at 3 years old. Therefore,
Yeah.
based on this experience, it is therefore valid
Yeah.
for someone to marry at 3 years old above
Yeah.
because of this ruling.
by the
Okay, you see,
by the way,
yeah, because
yeah.
their jurisprudence is similar to how we derive our own jurisprudence, because we derive our jurisprudence from the actions of the prophet, right? So they
Yeah. Yeah.
also do the same thing. They do this based on the actions of the past prophets, okay? How the past
Yeah.
prophets behave, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before any kind of like Christians or Jews like get mad about this is from Talmud, right? This is from Babylonian Talmud. This is not
Yeah,
like me
exactly.
making. This is the official site, by the way. This is the
Exactly,
official site. I'll
exactly.
give you guys the link. You guys can check
Yeah,
it out yourself. And
exactly.
by the way, here if you continue to read, it said, but according to the opinion of Rabbi Yannai, that Rabbi Meir requires full 3 years. So there's a difference of opinion whether you can like have sex with like 2-year-old or 3-year-old.
Yeah, it's the same as how our juries sometimes we have different opinions. So the rabbis too have difference of opinion. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same principle. That is why we Muslims are actually very close to the Jews, because in terms of jurisprudence and traditions, we actually are very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like obviously, we're like, this is like crazy. I mean, like 2 to 3 year olds, and the thing is,
Yes.
David would seems like he has no issues with this.
Yes, because he's a Christian, and Christians, they don't have this kind of traditions. Okay, they derive their traditions from the belief that their man God came to earth as a sinless man to die for the sins of the world. This is their only ruling. Okay, so they don't have any laws on how to get married, what is the right age to get married, how to have children, how to go to the toilet, how to wash yourself for cleanliness. They don't have this. They don't have this at all. And you know, I think in the past, David Wood has made fun of our own, sunnah, right? You know, we go to the toilet, we wash, how we wash and everything. He makes fun of it. He says that, you know, why you Muslims have to do this? I mean, the reason is simple, because we follow the example of the Prophet. You have no examples. You don't follow your own Prophet. Okay, you don't even follow your man God. Did not teach you how to wash yourself. So how do you know what is the right way to wash yourself? So basically, it goes back to that. Yeah. So it's the same thing when it comes to marriage laws and everything. How do these Christians get the idea that they have to get married at 18 years old? Okay.
Yeah.
Where do this number come from? You see, where did this number suddenly come from? Just because the secular liberal, secularist atheists decide that 18 years old is the right number? Is this the only reason? It's not religious. It doesn't come from the Bible, you see? So what happens if, let's say, 20 years or 30 years from now, let's say, if the secular liberal forces say, oh, you can't get married at 18 years old or 21 years old because a woman is still immature. All women must get married at 40 years old. What
I mean,
happens
it's already
then?
happening. I mean, in India, they have like raised the age of marriage to 20 or 22, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's say 30 years or 40 years or 100 years from now, all women are considered to be mature enough to get married only if they reach 40 years old. So what happens to those prior to those years who got married at 21 years old or 30 years old or even 18 years old or whatever? So are they all pedophiles? You see the point? So you see the point. So basically, Christianity as a whole, they don't have an anchor to determine the age of marriage or whatever. Because you see, even the Jews have this. Okay, they put it at 3 years old because the example that was shown by Rebecca and Isaac. Okay, we say that we Muslims, we believe that it's the age of puberty because that is what the Quran says and that is what the Prophet taught us. But what do Christians have?
This is the opinion of all the scholars, by the way. No scholars says that before puberty you can marry.
Exactly. See, that's the thing. So we actually need to ask the Christians, on what basis do you say that the number 18 or number 21 or whatever is the right age to get married? Where do you get this number from? Where do you pick this magic number from? You see? It's not in the Bible. It's not in the New Testament.
By the way, I think we should probably keep reading this because there's some interesting things here.
Oh, okay, sure. You want me to read this?
Yeah, sure. From Gamara.
Oh, yes. I think I did show this before in my live stream. I think I did not read the passage because I couldn't find it. So you managed to find it.
Okay, so there's this website called Sefaria. It's basically the official website of if you want to read like commentary or like Talmud. Like they have all the books. I don't think they have everything, but they have enough for
Fantastic.
they have enough like opinions on like different commentary or rabbinic commentary and stuff like that.
I should use this in my next video, inshallah. Okay. Anyway, so this is from the Nida 45a. So by the way, this is from the Babylonian Talmud. Okay, they have the Jerusalem Talmud, and for those who don't know, so the Jews, they have two types of Talmud. The first is the Babylonian Talmud and the Jerusalem Talmud. So this is from the Babylonian. Okay. So the Nida 45a, the Gemara asks, what difference is there in halakha? Halakha means Jewish law, like Sharia. Okay. What difference is there in halakha between these two suggestions? The Gemara answers that there is a practical ramification in a case where a priest engaged in intercourse with a girl to whom he is married within her first 3 years. Wow. Yeah.
Wait, I have a meme for this.
And found blood on her due to that intercourse, and again engaged in intercourse many times. Wow, including after she turned 3. Oh yeah, right. But on that occasion, he did not find any blood. If you say that after engaging in intercourse, when the girl is younger than 3, the hymen disappears and comes back again, here one can maintain that it disappeared due to the first time they engaged in intercourse and did not grow back because there was not enough time without intercourse for it to grow back. Wow.
All right, all right. I
Wow.
think we can stop here.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is that this is why, like, I think even Professor Salam, he told us that I think even in the Quran, right, Allah SWT criticizes the Jews for like saying that they have corrupted the religion, right, and they have so many like strict kind of like rulings that makes no sense. Like in my previous video, I showed a passage from Talmud where they literally said that Jesus is in hell. I mean, did you read about this?
Oh, that I know. Yes, I know about that.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked. I mean, like, what the hell? This is by the I quoted from this same
It's
website.
not only that. It's not only
Yeah.
that. They also believe in the Talmud. It's also recorded that Jesus was a son of a Roman soldier.
Oh,
He was a
really?
son of a he was a son that Mary Nauzubillah min zalik, that Mary had zina with a Roman soldier,
Ah, yeah. I
and
need to
Jesus was
find the
born because
passage.
of this. Yes,
I need to
yeah, you
find the
can find it.
passage.
I don't remember. I don't recall the name of the passage, but it's in the Talmud. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the thing. I think like a lot of Christians feel like they're more closer to the Jews than with the Muslims, but that is such so false.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
like at least,
it's
yeah,
such irony that Christians hate Muslims. Christians keep saying, "Oh, you need Jesus in your life," but the
yeah,
thing is, we Muslims already believe in Jesus as the
mm,
Messiah and a prophet of God. So why do we need Jesus in our life? Jesus is already part of our lives,
yeah,
so we don't need to. The Christians, they, just because we don't believe that,
yeah,
Jesus is God, like
yeah,
Jesus is divine anyway. That
yeah,
doesn't mean that we are any lesser than you Christians. You see, that's the thing. You see,
yeah,
that's the problem, that Christians are, especially the evangelical strain or the white supremacist Islamophobic strain, like the likes of that psychopath.
yeah,
So this is their mentality. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we should end it here. It's been like 2 hours. By the way, Ramadan Mubarak, everyone. By the way, how was your Ramadan? By the way, did you fast?
Yeah, it's great, alhamdulillah. Yeah, by the way, I'm sorry for coming in very late in the live stream. I know I was supposed to come by, but a friend came
Yeah, it's
by,
okay. It's
so
okay.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, I was kind of waiting for you. By the way, I was raided by like a bunch of Christians, David Wood fans earlier. I blocked them, which is good. By the way, yeah,
Actually, you should have blocked them. You should have left them for me to chew on them. I would have loved to,
yeah. But
spar
like
with
when you were
them.
like talking and like giving references, they're just annoying. Like bringing up points that has nothing to do with, oh, what about
That
your prophet
that
did this, blah blah blah.
I'm not surprised. That is their modus. Okay, they were always. I mean, their modus goes. Oh, yeah. So
Yeah,
the prophet did this, did that, did this, did that. That you have no answer to this, to that, to this,
yeah,
to that.
yeah,
But then
yeah,
they fail to look at their own traditions, and like the ones that you have shown just now, that I've read out
yeah,
just now. The Talmud says that you can marry, you can have sexual intercourse with a girl as young as 3 years old. Okay,
yeah,
and again, why? Again, the point is, why did the
yeah,
Jews believe this? Where do the Jews derive this law from? The answer is it's derived from the Bible itself, because
yeah,
Rebecca was married at 3 years old. You see,
yeah,
that's how they
yeah.
derive their law. They don't just simply pluck it out of thin air. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you something else, which is that, by the way, some Christians actually say that Jesus actually didn't never went against like the Judaism, right? Some of them say this. So if you like say this kind of things, that means that you have to believe in nonsense like this, right? So they always try to like,
Exactly. So basically, Jesus was a practicing Jew. He was following the halakha, the Jewish law. So if
yeah,
the Jews were saying that it's allowed for them to marry at 3 years old, a girl at
yeah,
3 years old, it means that Jesus also condones and accepts this action.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
see, that's the thing. I mean, there's nothing in the Gospels which say that Jesus goes against this practice. There's nothing there.
yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah,
mentioned
I
there at
mean,
all.
he does condemn certain practices, but he doesn't condemn everything, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
Uh,
connect. What about those which he did not mention? I mean, that doesn't
yeah,
mean that they are wrong, right? I mean, of course, he
yeah, yeah,
condemns some things, but there are
yeah,
also things which the Jews practice which he did not condemn. So,
yeah.
what about those, right? Yeah.
So yeah, and by the way, I think there's a lot of like early kind of like child marriage stuff in some rural parts of America as well. It happens.
Yes,
So yeah,
in fact, if you check if you look into European history, all right,
yeah,
the
yeah,
royals, the European royals, they married very young. Okay, in
yeah,
fact, I don't have the unfortunately I don't have the names
yeah,
and records here at the moment. But if you look it up, you'll
yeah,
find that in Europe, back in the Middle Ages, they were married very
yeah,
young. I mean, as young as even 9. Okay, 9 years
yeah,
old. Yeah, they
yeah,
were
yeah,
married off, and the groom may be around 14, and the
yeah,
bride may be around 9 or 10 years old. So
yeah,
what does that make them?
yeah,
Pedophile?
yeah.
You see? Yeah.
Bro, you're gonna
Oh,
get
by the
me
way,
in trouble. Like,
the
yeah,
brother asked a
all
good
the
question. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, by the way, we said a lot of like words that's gonna get us into a lot of trouble in the stream
Oh,
later
but by
on.
the way, can I address the brother's point here?
Yeah,
The
sure,
brother.
sure, 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 sure.
So they tried to use Rebecca being too weak to carry a jar of water or proof that she couldn't have been 3 years old according to Bible. Yes, I know about this claim because they say that, oh, a 3-year-old cannot carry a jar of water, so it means
Yeah,
that she does not reach puberty. Okay, there's a problem with this claim because in the Bible around the same
yeah,
time period there are people who live up to 100 years old, yeah,
yeah,
700 years old, even 900 years old.
yeah,
So if they are going to use these modern standards, of course, a 3-year-old, you see the Jewish rabbi argument against this kind of nonsense that, Rebecca was too young to carry a jar is that a 3-year-old, several thousand years ago is much, much more mature than a
yeah,
woman or than a girl or at 9 years old or 10 years old
yeah,
today. Okay.
yeah,
So that's the
yeah,
argument. Okay.
yeah,
So based on this, okay, if you look
yeah,
at the Bible, same time period during the time of Isaac and Abraham, etc., you will find people there, okay, who live up to 200 years old, 700 years old, 900 years
yeah,
old, even.
yeah.
So you
I
can
mean,
ask the
also like
Christian,
in
yeah,
the Bible, isn't there like some kind of like a monster that they talk about? They're like giants and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, my point is, okay, so you can
Yeah,
ask these Christians if a 3-year-old is unable to carry jars,
yeah,
just because you think that she's biologically incapable of carrying
yeah,
them during that
yeah,
time period, then you
yeah,
must also throw away your Bible because the Bible says that there are people who live up to 900 years old. Have you ever
yeah,
met a 900-year-old person in the world
yeah.
today? Is
Yeah,
that logically
also
acceptable?
like
Is that really?
they like
Yeah,
say like there were giants
yeah.
before, like
And then there
Sodom
were
and
giants,
Gomorrah,
yes, and
like
also
slayed
of
a giant or
animals that.
something. Yeah,
Exactly. So then you must throw away the Bible because we don't see these things happening today. We don't see a 900-year-old man walking around
yeah,
healthy as though there's nothing wrong with him. You see,
yeah,
the most
yeah,
if there's a 900-year-old man, that will definitely shatter the Guinness Book of World Records. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So you ask the Christians this: if you don't accept the idea that a 3-year-old during the time of Abraham and Isaac can carry a jar, a heavy jar, then you must
yeah,
still also reject the Bible because the Bible also says during that time period there are people who live up to 900 years old. Please
yeah,
show us where today in the modern world are there people who could live up to 900 years old, biologically speaking. You
yeah.
see? So it goes both
So,
ways. So if you can't,
yeah,
so basically it's like this. Yeah. So you cannot have, you cannot have your cake and no without
eat
eating
it
it
too.
whole. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you can't have your cake and hammer it too.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't take just pieces. Oh, because she's a 3 years old, she can't carry a jar. Then what
Yeah,
about the 900-year-old man walking in the Bible alive?
yeah, yeah,
You see? You see?
yeah,
In the same time, the point is the same time period, not a different time period. It's around the same
yeah,
time period. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I think we can like finish this now. I think it's been like 2 hours. Thank you, bro, for joining. I was kind of worried you weren't
Yes.
gonna come.
Yeah, sorry, Aki. I really am sorry for that. But yeah, I mean a promise is a promise, and yeah, I still managed to come even though I was a
Sure,
bit
sure,
late.
no problem, no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's about it. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, bro, for joining. Inshallah,
Yeah,
we'll do another stream
jazakallah
maybe.
for khairan for having me, I guess. And
Yeah, sure,
yeah,
sure.
Ramadan Mubarak to everyone, including you as
Yeah,
well, I guess. Mm.
sure, sure. Ramadan Mubarak. And yeah, I guess with that, we'll end the show. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We play the
Wa alaikum
intro and we'll
salam.
end it, inshallah.
Yep.